Peter, Ibukun, Salako, Jethro. Has been the trading week for us. Kelly, Mr. Kelly, good morning. Johnson, Joshua, Maje, Israel, I greet all of you bosses on this Zoom call. Has been the trading week so far. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. Hope you took some profits or you still have your running trades in play. And for those that eat SL, so it is well. It's one of those days in the market. Right? Just resume for the week. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jethro Yusuf. That's good. That's good. That is good. That is good. We're back for another day in the market. Give us this day our daily tips. Let's see what is happening in the market. Okay, guys. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen so that we can. I believe you can see my screen now. I do believe you can see my screen. Okay. So let's start with US 30. Start with US 30. I'm seeing something very interesting on US 30. This is on 3 minutes. Okay. On a daily time frame, we saw that US 30 started buying or started selling. That was 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. Oh, we saw this movement, witnessed all this movement. However, we said in that call that once we see price tap on this other block and then begin to move to the upside, I want to see a break of this structure level to then begin selling it to the downside if we are going to follow the sellers in that market. However, we also said that we are very, very conscious of the long-term buyers, which is a buy, because all of this movement is just a minor retracement, minor retracement on the buy for the long term, right? Long-term buy. I will mention that during our FIB level, from year to year, this retracement was only on the 23.6 level. If it's going to sell further and break this structure level, we are willing to sell it further to 61.8 level. That's if we see the sellers pushing the market aggressively. However, that was not the case. That was not the case that we had. What we began to see was that stock price begin to break structure to the upside. Stock price breaking structure to the upside, which indicates also for this new short-term sell that we saw on daily time frame, it's like a retracement too on that, right? It's like a retracement on this short-term sell. However, we want to be careful, right? We want to be careful such that we don't get caught in the whole sell bias, because it's short-term. In the grand scheme of things, market is still bullish, right? The market is still bullish. So what are we expecting? We said that we wanted to start selling from the premium level. That's 61.8, 78.6 level, or even 88.6 level, which is not currently on the FIB setting for now, right? So this is something we are looking forward to probably happen. One of the possibilities we are looking forward to happen. But this morning, I'm having something quite interesting, both a buy and sell scenario on US 30. On US 30, let's go to 4 hours time frame so we can see things clearer, right? We saw price broke. This was the tap on the other block, on the daily order block, tap on the other block, and then failed to clear this level and also this ultimately these levels. All right. Instead, we saw it begin to break structure to the upside, right? Created like a equal low and then broke the recent high, which giving us a new higher high to the upside, higher high to the upside. However, we can still note that there's an imbalance here. There's an imbalance on this level. Inefficiency in price, as price is willing to fill. Price might be willing to fill all of this inefficiency. There's also a tiny one up again at the top. A price is most likely willing to fill. So what am I expecting? I'm waiting for price to tap into that level for us to now even sell to the downside, because from our daily time frame, this is around 61.8 fib level. Yes, 61.8 fib level. So around this zone will be at a premium zone that we can start selling from. This zone, it will lead us to a premium zone. It's already a premium zone. Already, this is a premium zone we can sell off from, for a good possible place. Other conferences adding to the setup will make this a good spot to sell off from. Why am I also looking for a sell here? This, you have price acting as inducement already at this level, right? Source of inducement at this level already. So giving me some other confirmation that price is going to be attracted to this level, consume all of this liquidity, and then begin to tank from this place, right? Which is also a short-term bias in terms of the long-term setting of this trade. On the daily time frame, everybody, we can establish that we are bullish, right? We are long. Market is expecting multiple higher highs and higher lows. But because of the short-term bias that we've seen so far, the sell that we've seen so far, which also has given us a considerable structure break, broken all of this structure to the downside. This can be considered a retracement to further sell it to the downside. I believe it will still sell a little bit, but then if for any reason sellers are not able to hold the markets, the momentum is not as strong, they don't come in strong into the market, then we'll see the buy side resume aggressively, which is also fair, right? So for a short-term sell, what am I looking for? I'm looking for is for a short-term analysis. What am I looking for? Is sell, right? From this level, price tapping into this FVG, consuming this liquidity that has been formed. This liquidity that has been formed already, structural liquidity that has been formed. I'm going to sell from this level. Of course, looking for a very good entry, because from this level alone, we are talking about, say, 200, 150 pips SL, which is quite large for what I want to do. However, I'm going to look for a very good entry to enter this market. So that will be for my sell scenario. However, for my buy scenario, I'm seeing something interesting for the buy too. I'm seeing something interesting for the buy. I've actually marked it out, right? Because with what I'm looking at on 4 hours, there's still time for us to buy to the upside. There's still enough gap for price to move. I mean, price is still here. This is 206 pips is enough into this FVG. That's 250 pips. 250 pips. It's enough for something to happen. So I'm looking at a buy already that's formed on 15-minute time frame. So a sweep of liquidity. Price swept all through this liquidity, right? This last low, price swept through it, and then what did we see? Give us a structural liquidity, an inducement, kind of. Give us an inducement here before going to break all of this high here. What am I looking for? I'm waiting for price to come all the way down to this structural liquidity, and then, start moving from there, right? For those of us that trade box strategy, this is just a variation of box strategy. A sweep across the left-hand side, making here a strong low that shouldn't be taken out. That shouldn't be taken out. Making here a strong low that shouldn't be taken out. After which we have the structural liquidity, which is standing at inducement. It's serving as inducement for us to buy, right? Serving as a fuel. The market is going to magnet towards this place, clear this inducement, and then tap into this level to start buying to the upside. What will be my TP for this? My TP will be that FVG on the 4 hours time frame. The TP will be that FVG on the 4-hour time frame. This is the structural liquidity that we expect to be consumed for the sell. If you still remember, this is already 1:10, and then say 50% of the FVG on 4 hours time frame. 50% of this FVG on 4-hour time frame will be somewhere around here. Yes. So this is like 1:12 RR, something like that. Something like that. So this is what I'm looking at for a buy for today on US 30. With price still have a long way to go. However, probably during New York market open, we might see liquidity that will push price, seeing momentum that will push price either to the upside or downside, right? I believe we should see a tap on this level before we continue the movement to the upside. Continue the movement to the upside. So I'm looking at this for today on US 30. This is basically what I'm waiting for to happen on US 30. Hands crossed. Although there's no volume, there's no much of news, fundamental news to drive the market today. I believe probably by 2:30, New York market open will give us some injection of momentum into this market. If that happens, then we're going to go. We're good to go. We're good to go. So, guys, you can ask your question in the chat box if you have any question as regards US 30, as regards this analysis that's been made. You can begin to ask your question in the chat box. If you have this question whatsoever on US 30, you have any question, any gray area you want us to share more light on, you can ask in the chat box. You can ask this chat box. And if this section was helpful in any way, you can also let us know in the chat box. For those that want to know the exact point I'll be entering this market, I've dropped a markup here. However, other refinements may be made to this setup. If you like to know that refinement or how we take trade, you can also do yourself the favor of joining through the link that will be sent in the chat box, right? It's a 3-step process. It's very seamless and easy, right? The first thing you do is you sign up with our preferred broker using the link in the chat box to be sent in about 2 to 5 seconds. You will see it there. You register using that link. After you've done that, you fund your account with a minimum of say 500, 300, 5,000, 10,000, as the case might be, right? After you're done funding your account, just take a screenshot of that funding, that MT4, MT5, and then send us a message on Telegram, right? Send us a message on Telegram. The link to that also will be dropped in the chat box. Once you're done with that, somebody from the team is going to respond to you in less than 3 to 5 minutes. In less than 3 to 5 minutes. So, guys, that'll be all for today. If you have any question, you can ask in the chat box. If you have any question whatsoever about US 30, about the analysis that's been made, you can ask in the chat box, guys. If you have any question for whatsoever reason, you can ask in the chat box. You can ask in the chat box. Also, I'd like to bring to your reminder about our copier service. The link was dropped. Okay. A minute, guys. The link has been dropped for our copier services in the chat box also. If you're interested in that, you can send a message to us and we get you on board. We get you started with it. So, guys, that'll be all for today. If you have any question, and in the absence of no question, my colleague will be coming over to continue our section of the analysis for the London session market color. Thank you, guys. Cheers and God bless.
All right, welcome back to the second part of today's market color session. It's always nice to have you all here with us. I hope we're all fine. I hope you've already grabbed one or two things from the analysis that my colleague shared with you earlier. Let me know in the chat box if you can hear me. You can leave some emojis for me so I know we're together. Right, so we're just going to be jumping into business today, continuing actually with the commodity currency pairs with AUD USD being the first pair that we look at. Okay, I see a message in the chat. All right, thank you, Ima. We're going to be starting off with AUD USD, right? Now, what do we see on this chart? You open your chart, the first thing you're seeing is clearly down, right? Our trend is clearly down on AU, on the daily time frame, of course. Then we'll come to the 4 frame and we see that price is currently bullish, and that's following the rule of all weather. So following the procedures of all weather, price is currently bullish, right? However, do you notice how price has been unable to break above this level? Price has been unable to break above this resistance points that we've had on AUD/USD since March. We have 1 tap, 2 tap, 3 tap, and it still hasn't broken that level. So of course, in as much as the 4-hour time frame is showing us a bullish move, we're seeing AUD/USD selling. I'm still seeing AUD/USD selling a bit more. And my first area of interest for AUD/USD to sell into before it now goes along the 4-hour bullish move that we're seeing is for you to sell all the way back in here. You see the line that is marked here. So I'm seeing AUD/USD selling all the way in here before it then continues the 4-hour trend, which it is forming, or it continues the daily trend which we're seeing. So if price comes here and bounces back, this trend might just be continued. But if price gets there and breaks below it, we just might be seeing a continuation of the daily trend, which is clearly down. Now, on the 1-hour time frame, the sunshine has already been printed, right? You see this sunshine here. Printed, it sold. Another sunshine printed right at a level where we have resistance now acting as a present support, which just happens to coincide with our momentum, which we have here, right? So what am I seeing on AUD/USD short term, very, very short term? I'm seeing AU doing this. It's going to respect the sunshine, which it has printed, and buy a little, maybe buy all the way in here and then drop. And then it's going to sell back into the 4-hour level, which you already marked, which is right here. So I'm seeing AUD/USD buying short term back into this level, and then it will drop and continue selling, right? So from this, I just go straight to my 5-minute time frame, and I'm just going to pretty much mark up what I always mark up on this particular TF, which are 4 basic levels. 4 basic levels, and I'll wait, watch, and see when price gets to those levels. I'm going to act accordingly. So the first level which I'm marking up is here, right? Which is the high of the day before yesterday. And then the second level I'm marking up is the high of yesterday. The third level is now the low of the day before yesterday. And then the fourth level I'm marking up is the low of yesterday. The low of yesterday, right? Now you see that price is already buying. It's already buying. The first resistance point for AUD/USD to continue itself will most likely be the low of yesterday, which already I didn't mark it properly. I'm just going to adjust that now. So it is very precise. Drag that down a bit. So this is where our resistance point is. And price is already tapping into it. So if price comes in here and it doesn't break above and starts to form structures to the downside, especially on my 1-minute time frame, I'm going to start selling and I'm going to calculate my SL first to see how much gap I have to give the market to do its thing. And so if I enter this sell from where price currently is, that's a lot of pips. But however, this is the 5-minute time frame. My SL will most likely be on the 1-minute time frame, right? So if price starts to reject from here and I see structures breaking to the downside on my 1-hour time frame, I'm going to start selling AUD/USD from this point. But if it doesn't, notice how the level I marked from the 1-hour time frame coincides with the indicators we have here, which is the momentum and the pullback. And this pullback is basically a magnet that draws price to itself. So most likely AUD/USD is going to break above this and trade all the way back into this pullback before it now continues selling. So if this AUD/USD sell starts and it starts to sell, my first TP area, so I have I think I have 2 or 3 TP areas that I'm targeting on AUD/USD sell, provided it's supports what it's supposed to support. The first TP area is going to be here, which is the low of the day before yesterday. This is going to be my first TP area. I'm going to sell into this area first, and then my second TP area is going to be somewhere around here, exactly where this trend, this horizontal line is. That's where I'll be selling AUD/USD into. You can take note of those levels. The first one being 0.65618, and the second one being 0.65231. So for AUD/USD right now, short term, my bias is still very much bearish. Price is still respecting the resistance level which you see here. So it's still bearish, and I'm going to sell in here, catch the trade of the day, the trade of the session, and then wait to see what happens, and of course reanalyze and go with the flow. So if price comes here, trades into where we just highlighted on the 5-minute time frame, and we see structure respecting the 4-hour bias, then we can now start buying following what 4-hour is already printing. But if it doesn't and it breaks below, then it just might be the continuation of the daily trend we see that wants to play out. All right. Next is the NZD/USD. On the NZD/USD now, what do we see? It's clearly down as well. Daily is down, 4-hour is down. 1-hour time frame most likely has a sunshine printed, which is what we see here. So where is NZD/USD going to sell into? The first area I see NZD/USD selling into is right here. I believe NZD/USD is going to sell all the way in here. First, if it breaks below, the next level is going to be targeting. It's going to be right here. So more bearish moves for these guys. More bearish move for these guys. However, because price is very close to the 1-hour trend, which is what we see here, there's going to be a reaction. Price isn't going to break below this guy and just keep tanking. We're going to see a reaction around this level. It's going to buy a bit more before it continues the sell move. So let's just go straight to 5-minute time frame and mark out those levels that help us enter the market. And they are basically before yesterday's high, Permit my rectangles, they are very huge. Ideally, they should be tinier than this, so that your chart doesn't look all choked up, especially since we're using indicators. So yesterday's high is also marked, and yesterday's low as well. So what do I see NZD/USD doing? NZD/USD has already traded back into these pullbacks, which we have here. So I expect NZD/USD to start selling any moment from now. It's going to start dropping. It's going to trade into the trend. There's going to be reactions from this trend back into our momentum, and then price is most likely going to break below this and continue selling. Right? NZD/USD is a bit more clearer than AU since the H4 and the D1 align. So we're going to be selling. For now, there's no entry on NU. It hasn't broken below our Keltner channels and retested, so there's no entry right now. However, I'm going to be actively watching the chart on NZD/USD, or I'll check as well to see the best moving pair between AU and NZD/USD. And then, of course, I'm going to take the most preferred. And that's pretty much it for NZD/USD and AUD/USD. So briefly touching on USD CAD now. USD CAD following all weather, it's up. This guy is bullish. Do you notice that it also has a bunch of resistance that has been unable to break through? I just saw that as well. So there's a bunch of resistance. There's a resistance level here, which price hasn't broken through. But this is still up. So USD CAD most likely is going to buy back in here. And then, of course, we're going to see if it breaks below this resistance point and then drop. But for the 4-hour time frame, now the 4-hour time frame is not really clear. Why? Because in as much as we see that the trend is clearly up, you now see that if you're looking at price in between, you see that price has broken below this momentum kept now, and it has gone back to retest it. So the probability of USD CAD doing this, right, is also there. It's there. You could just do this and then continue selling, or you could just sell in here and then start to buy. But take note of this has been printed here. There's no sunshine up that will signify profit taking for those who are currently buying USD CAD. Until that is printed, because I'm not in the buy already, I'm going to be watching. I'm not going to jump in now because I ought to have entered earlier. But since I haven't, where do I think USD CAD is going to buy into? USD CAD most likely is going to buy all the way. Let's check 1 hour for clearer picture. I see USD CAD buying all the way in here and stopping around this level. So USD CAD still has space to go. It's going to buy in here all the way to where I just marked, which is 1.37045, and then continue selling. If it starts from that point and you just want to catch little pips, you're still good because it's going to trade back in here and then you're going to be selling back into our trend which we have here, and that's over 60 pips, which is good enough, right? So let's see what 5-minute time frame is doing as well. You should be getting familiar with these levels that I mark on my 5-minute time frame by now. It's very repetitive, no differences, no corrections, no additions. It happens every time. Mark out yesterday's high, yesterday's low, and then mark out day before yesterday's high. Mark out day before yesterday's high, and then day before yesterday's low. Now, what do I see on the 5-minute time frame? Price has broken above my trend. It has broken above, it has retested. So USD CAD most likely is going to buy back into that level that I marked, which is here. I see USD CAD buying back into that level, which I already marked. And from where price currently is to where that level is, it is about 20-ish pips, a bit over 20 pips. So not really, I'm not interested in that. I'm just going to wait for price to buy back to that level. And then if I see structure breaking to the downside, I just might take a sell. However, if price breaks below this and just continues buying, I'm going to look for my entries. So we know for AUD/USD, we had RBA release yesterday that came out and it didn't really do much for the AUD/USD pair. It kind of disappointed the OX, and that explains the bearish moves we're currently seeing. Price is still not going to be able to break this resistance level unless, of course, we see a surprising downside in the US CPI news coming out next week. If we see a US CPI downside next week, then maybe AUD/USD is just going to be finally able to come and break above this resistance and continue buying. However, our attention and our bias right now is what can we catch in the market right now, right? So I'm seeing a sell for AUD/USD. We're just going to be waiting for price to retrace back into the level we already marked, which is here, and then we're going to be selling it back all the way in here. I hope you all took note of the different TP levels which I highlighted already of them, and then take advantage of what the market is doing. So our first TP is here, our second TP is here as well. The same thing on NZD/USD. We marked out our TP levels, which are here and here, right? For USD CAD, I'm going to be waiting for price to retrace back into where I expect it to now sell from, and then I'm going to be selling it from here to this point. It's just a quick move I'm going to be catching in between my pullback and my trend. Because when price gets into this level, the probability of it continuing this buy move, which is on the 1 hour time frame, is very high. It's very, very high. Bear in mind rather that USD CAD, looking at trend, it's up. D1 as well is also up. So this is up and this is up. So we're going to be waiting for price to do that. Or we could even decide to start buying USD CAD now and then wait to see if we are part of the move that eventually breaks above this level and then just continues the buy move. That is also a very valid analysis. We could just start buying from here because based off what price is currently doing, let's see 1 minute time frame. Give me a second while this loads up. Okay, it has. Now, this buy has kind of gone on for a while, actually. it has done about 26 pips. But if I see USD card trade back into this trend, if I see it come back into this trend, I'm going to join the buy move. But for now, I am not in a hurry to get taken out of the market. So I'm just going to wait for USD card to retrace back into this trend, and then I most likely will follow the 4-hour trend, which you see playing out. And that's pretty much it for the commodity currency pairs. Levels were already highlighted. Please take note of them. Watch how the market plays out. If you want to take the trades at those levels, you can watch, see your entry techniques, and then sell AU and NU. Of course, wait for USD card to eventually align, and then take your profits at those levels which we already marked out. And if you do not see your entry pattern formed out, please do not force yourself into the market. It's better you enter the market because you've met all your criteria and you get stopped out than for you to jump into the market because you don't want to miss the move and get stopped out. That kind of trade pains a lot. Take it from me. It's very hurtful when you know you broke a rule only for you to now get taken out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the guys we just looked at. I'm going to my boss is online right now, so he's going to. Good morning, sir. Just a second while I try to get the volume up. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. All right, so it may seem as though my boss is currently not available. Okay, he has joined us now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Abigail. I had to rush to. So I was here earlier. Good morning, everyone. So over to you. I ran up the stairs. Okay. So Abby.
Yes, sir.
What would you have me do? Have you told them about Abuja event and how we're warming up and they should invite people?
I was going to do that actually. But sir, you can just help us
No,
tell them
do
about the event.
it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Okay. All right, so we have our events coming up on the 30th and the 31st of this month in Abuja, Merit House. It's free, totally free to you. Of course, it's been covered by other parties, but it's free to you. We highly recommend you're there. I've been to a couple of events myself, and most events I've been to are always motivational, inspired to acquire. I was poor before, now I'm rich. Or we are coming to teach you the step-by-step approach you can take to actually achieving what our mentors have been able to achieve in their journey, right? We're going to be doing our market color session live as well. That's one. We're also going to teach you algo trading, how bots works, how you can make money from it. There's a lot of value to be learned and gained from that event. So there's no reason why you should miss it. And I've been telling people, if you know you work at a 9 to 5 job and it might be some sort of an hindrance for you to be available, apply for a leave now. Take those 2 days off, just 2 days. Come for the events and benefit from it. We're all going to be there, my colleagues and I, my boss as well. There's also going to be a one-on-one session with my boss. So you can just send a DM to our IG or our WhatsApp and we'll give you the details on having a one-on-one session with Mr. Ejimi himself. All right? Spread the word. Spread the word. For those of us not in Abuja, we get the streaming. For now, we do not know if there's going to be any provision for that. You can always drive down to Abuja now. Take a flight, come by road, come down to Abuja, be there in person. So for now, we don't know if there's going to be any provision for live streaming, all right? The flyer is going to be dropped in the VFT market color after this session. Please endeavor to share it with as much people as possible so that a lot of people take advantage of that event that we have coming up. In addition to that, we have a couple of courses that you can start taking before that time to help improve your trading. We have our ATM cash flow, FX bootcamp, and then we have a number of bots as well that will help you make passive income. Send a DM, just send us a message. One of our bots specifically has been saving my life, me, myself, and that's our GU bot. It's been really, really helpful, very consistent, slow and steady, right? So take advantage of that as well. Please help us here in Lagos. So, Hannah, you're a big person now. Fly down to Abuja. All right, so thank you so much once again for joining this session. It's been a very, very nice time with you all. We're going to reconvene at 3 p.m. for the New York session. Do well to participate.
Okay, so
okay. Sorry, sir.
Very quickly. Thank you so much, Abby.
Yes, sir.
I'm still looking at the yen pairs. Gradually, we're seeing. Okay, Baba Aliyu is asking about the different bots at different price points. Okay, different bots at different price points. Some are third-party bots. Some are bots that we have purchased and we've optimized. So there are different price points. Some are bots that were licensed to sell it. We are representing on their behalf to market it. So it depends. Let's see the end. Some sort of for the yen pairs.
Yes, sir.
Yen pairs to try and break the low. Why? You can look at CHF, JP. And why am I saying that I'm still expecting that? Because of the correlated assets. All right, so see the low of last week on the 4-hour of last week on the, and so see that there's some sort of double bottom. I'm still expecting yen some sort of rebound to the downside. Okay. Okay, this is not MT4. Abby, should we see it on MT4? Is that possible?
All right, sir.
Let's see it on 4-hour more clearly. So if we can see it on MT4, okay. Time frame. So I was saying that I'm expecting to see some sort of sell-off below the lows. Okay, fantastic. Exactly. If you even look at all weather, at least Abby has explained, you understand all weather. That's our indicator-based strategy, which works basically using moving averages to determine the trend, and then using weekly highs, weekly lows, daily highs, daily lows, and basic structure, market structure shifts to determine where my market is going. So look at why I said I'm still expecting price to break the lows. You can zoom in a bit. Already you see the trend line shrinking. Now that doesn't automatically mean a reversal. Zoom out a bit. Zoom out just once. Exactly. So you can see the trend lines shrinking. So why am I saying that I am expecting that low of last week? So every period, every dotted line you see is a period. So why am I saying so? I'm thinking that from January all the way till April. What is that? What am I thinking that guys can still, without indicators, guess what? All the way. Sorry. What do you think that is? You think that is those highs? Those highs are. Please talk to me so I know I'm not talking to myself. I think that's the left shoulder. Nobody's answering me, so let me just answer myself. That's the left shoulder. Those highs all over. Oh, plain chart. Open a plain chart so it doesn't confuse people. Naked chart. Exactly. You can control Y for period separators. Yes, then zoom out. Zoom out. Let's see more information, more data. Exactly. All right. So based on what I'm seeing here, I'm looking at the entirety of January and February, the highs of January and February as my shoulder, right? Then I'm looking at the spike in April, the spike in April. Sajeri, thank you. To clear all that liquidity. And then I'm looking at the downside yesterday, last week, as also to frustrate the buyers. So obviously been a trap. All the breakout buyers to the upside that bought around 171. It's a buy. The trend line has broken. The blah, 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 blah. We are moving up. When those ones were in their buys, they now said, back down. 167. That whole move is like 800 pips. The institutionals have gotten what they want. Does this make sense? We call these people like Waka FU candle, the sweep. So I'm now thinking for this sweep to be after you have left shoulder, then you have the sweep. The next thing we are expecting is a break of to the downside. Is if yes, a break of structure to liquidity below, expecting that liquidity to be taken out, especially if you look at it, it is support. Abby, mark the trend line support. That no, you chose a straight line. Exactly. The diagonal. See that there's diagonal liquidity there. See the diagonal liquidity, it falls fair value gap around this. On this now, I'm at that diagonal liquidity because if you zoom in, it didn't touch it. That spike to the downside didn't touch the diagonal liquidity for the move to the downside. Now there's also a fair value gap that was formed last week. That fair value gap that was formed last week by the move to the value gap from 170 spots 50, 170 spot 48, 170 spot 48, 48. Exactly that place. That's a fair value gap. So if you even look at that now, you now see shoulder sweep, a return. So that's the sweep down to the downside. That's the shoulder. All right. Okay, my voice is breaking. Oh. So this is why I'm saying that I'm expecting price. Is it still breaking? Or can you hear
Yes,
me
it is.
now?
We're trying to fix it. It's coming in and out.
Oh, shucks.
I think it's your
All right.
network, sir.
It's my network. Let me
Yes, sir.
change. Nice. Yen basket to see if it will push up. To see if yen basket will now push up. To see if yen basket will push up. If yen basket pushes up, then it will come down. So I'm still very much interested in a bearish scenario, especially now that they have taken out all the buyers. So now they may be looking to take out all the sellers. So Abina, if you zoom in, you will see the shoulder that was formed last week into that fair value gap. Last week, the move to the downside, immediately after the move to the downside, exactly there. That's a shoulder, that's the sweep that tapped into that flip zone. And then this is a return to that shoulder. So fair value gap to the downside, price returned into the fair value gap, 50%, consequent encroachment, 50%, which was also a flip zone. Previous resistance, previous support on the 29th of April, previous support on the 29th of April, now became what? Resistance. So that's a flip zone, exactly. Then that very flip zone, there's a shoulder. Yes, before that one, there's a shoulder just before it. Okay. No, the candle, no. Where it tapped into the flip zone. Exactly there, where you are. Right there, that's a shoulder. And that's a sweep. And that's a break of structure to the downside. And that's a return to the shoulder. And that's twin tower resistance. So I'm expecting that price should break to the downside. Based on this, break to the downside, there's a fair value gap at the open, 169.09. 169.09. You can use this 169.09. Exactly, there. From there to there, that's a fair value gap into the open. So that should act as a magnet. If that one gets broken to the downside, then we will see price targeting the low of last week, because there's diagonal liquidity into that low, 167.56, and then clearing all the liquidity to the downside. So that's the scenario for a downside move. That's the scenario for a downside move. Draw my diagonal liquidity and use rectangle to show the fair value gap. Diagonal liquidity should be drawn with trend line, not horizontal line. Trend line, diagonal liquidity. Thank you. Then there's a fair value gap, which is a rectangle, drawn with a rectangle, fair value gap with a rectangle. Exactly. Fair value gap at the open. Yes, that's a fair value gap. Price has tapped into that. I'm even talking of the untapped fair value gap at the open of the week. Yes, that's a fair value gap there at the open. So there's an incentive for price to go back to the open. Exactly. Exactly. So if that level holds or price just taps into it again and comes back down, It's coming to 169.09. If it breaks that, there's liquidity below that. It's coming there. Exactly. Now, when it gets to that 168 level, that can now act as a protected low. Why do I say so? 15th of April. 15th of April. That is a shoulder. Then low of the 1st of May. Low of the 1st of May. 1st of May. That low. That is a sweep, upside down shoulder, upside down sweep. So price can break it, clear that liquidity. When it gets to that 167.56, it can now stay there and then tap and then do what? Go back to the upside. So this is the scenario I'm seeing. It respects the resistance and the flip zone where it is. It breaks below it into 169.09 levels, which is about 75 pips away. Breaks below that and goes from 169.09 into 168.07, another 100 pips to the downside. And then when it gets there, it will struggle because that's a sweep and a shoulder, upside down sweep and shoulder. But if it breaks below that, then we know where it's going. All of this is dependent on what EM Basket says. So let's see what EM Basket is saying. So go back to TradingView and let's see what EM Basket is saying. Is this helping anybody or you have successfully confused you? Is this helping anybody or have successfully confused you? I'm showing you fair value gaps, liquidity that price wants to grab, external liquidity, box pattern, the shoulder, the sweep, the shoulder, the sweep. So yen basket to the upside. Okay. Yen basket to the upside. Now, this yen basket to the upside, we need to see it going up. I'm seeing box pattern, but it's looking like the box pattern failed. So scroll into May. Zoom into May. Exactly. So do you see the sweep, the basket, the failure? See the shoulder around 29, 28, thereabout, 28, thereabout. There's a shoulder there, there's a sweep to the upside. Price didn't even bother coming down. Exactly. Shoulder, sweep, box failure. Then form the fair value gap. So mark that fair value gap. Then there's one after that. A bigger fair value gap to the upside with a shift, market structure shift. Below that, yes, exactly. At around 6,000. No. Below now, there's a big fair value gap.
This one here.
Exactly now. That's even the one I'm talking about because that one is very obvious. Exactly. And there's a flip zone there. Previous resistance that became support. Previous resistance that became support. You can see the flip zone now. The box, the fair value gap is actually a flip zone. It also doubles at a flip zone. See the resistance there that became, exactly, that became support. Then box failure. See the shoulder. The shoulder around 2 p.m. That place I say 2 p.m. There's a long week. That's a shoulder. No. On the 28th or so. 28th of April. There is a shoulder, not an upside down shoulder, a proper shoulder. Around 20, it's not 28, it's 25th. That doji now, that rejection pin bar, exactly there. That's a shoulder now.
Yeah.
Is that not a shoulder?
Yeah.
Then the one after it too is a shoulder. And there was a sweep. There was a sweep. Price came back down sharply, then went all the way back up into that shoulder. and cleared the shoulder. Then he came back down, but he couldn't go further down. Then he stopped there, showing me that, okay, it seems like there's buying pressure. Then he went up and did a shift. So I'm expecting price to come back into that fair value gap, tap into it, or even the one above it, right? And then move to the upside to clear that equal high around 6,450. So if this happens, yes, exactly. Clear. You see those two equal highs now? On the left, exactly. That's a high, that's another high, that's liquidity there. So clear to the upside. So I'm expecting price to come down into like 6,000 levels, tap into that level as an inducement, and then do what? Go all the way up to the upside and clear that. If that happens, that gives CHF JPY some room to sell. Some room to sell, okay? So to support the CHF JPY sell, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at. All right, so I hope this was helpful to somebody out there. I'm still looking at correlated assets, and I'm still saying CHF JPY should go to the downside because their central banks are doing opposite things. Okay? All right. So any questions specifically for me to make sure that you gain something from this? If you notice, everything I was saying is I'm looking for the liquidity levels. I'm looking at the fair value gaps and the flip zone. If you are here, who knows what a shoulder is? Or box pattern. Who knows what a shoulder is? Who knows what an upside down shoulder is? Who knows what a sweep is? You have a shoulder, left shoulder, you have a sweep of that shoulder, you have a break of structure to the downside or a market structure shift to the downside. Then you have a return to the fair value gap, which should hold and the box pattern should hold. However, if it gets to the left shoulder and it doesn't hold and it breaks that shoulder, then that means there's a box pattern failure, which is in itself a signal. So wherever there's a box pattern failure, there must be another opposite fair value gap. You wait for price to return back into that one and then continue the move since the box pattern failed. You must know all these things: diagonal liquidity, fair value gap, shoulder, sweep, and break of structure, market shift. All right. Any question? If there isn't, let me allow. We've really extended today 1 hour, but I hope it was helpful. All right. For those of you coming for the boot camp, it's going to be fantastic. We're going to have, I think, 4 free sessions and 1 paid session. 4 free sessions and 1 paid session. So plan to attend at least the 4 free sessions, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you so much to the team, Value Flow Trading team. Zaria, thank you so much. We'll talk. If there are no questions, over to you guys. Cheers and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful session. It's always amazing having our boss on board. We're going to be calling it a wrap at this point. How much is the paid session, please?
We've not yet fixed a price, but it will not be more than 100,000. And it cannot be less than 50,000. So let me just say that. All right. And there's a bonus. Okay. Thank you. Cheers. God bless.
Sir. Okay, we're going to reconvene at 3 p.m. for the New York session of today's market color analysis. Thank you so much once again for joining. Cheers and God bless.